emotion tells me you're not here. The voice of time is broken. Come on, let me dry your eyes so you can see the setting sun. I'll tell you about the other side, waiting for the sleep to come. We can't hold back the night, no matter how fast we run. There's nothing to decide. Eventually the sleep will come. I know you say we'll never be together. Maybe someday we'll learn to live apart. Karma's obsession fills the space between us. There is no way we'll learn to live apart. Come on, let me dry your eyes so you can see the setting sun. I'll tell you about the other side, waiting for the sleep to come. Can't hold back the night, no matter how fast we run. There's nothing to decide. Eventually the sleep will come.
Happy Monday, Waterloo Region. It's Monday, August the 10th, 2020. This is CKMS Community Connections. My name is Bob Jonkman. We're listening this morning to Radio Free Universe. I'm going to give them a call and talk to George, the front man. I'll have that interview in just a few minutes. We've just heard Sleep Will Come. This is All or Nothing Time by Radio Free Universe.
It's another afternoon. Stop me with your silence. The battle rages on underneath the moon. You say you want a revolution. Bomb me with your love. Shoot me with your truth. It's too late to talk about it. Too late to calm down. That was then and this is now. I'll get over you somehow. It's too late, my love. It's too late. All or nothing time. I'm the fire of the promises you made. You said it was forever. You're the dead end lullaby of a downtown train. I'm a revelation in a doorway, and forever's just a word, not a time or place. It's too late to talk about it, too late to calm down. That was then and this is now. I'll get over you somehow. It's too late, my love. It's too late. The news has come undone. I'm already gone. A time will never come. I'll wait on the sun. The night is always young. And you are not the one. It's too late to
That's All or Nothing Time by Radio Free Universe. And we have George on the phone from Radio Free Universe. Good morning, George. Welcome to CKMS Community Connections.
Good morning to you, sir.
Where are you calling from? Where did I call to get you? Sounds like a local number.
Well, yeah, I'm in, this number is a Hamilton number because our studio is in Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived in Dundas until a few days ago. And then I moved, I bought a century home in Welland by the canal. Beautiful.
Oh,
peaceful.
That is nice. Good picnic spot. Watch the boats go by. The ships, sorry.
Yeah, this is the rowing canal, so there's not that many big boats. But if I walk a few hundred feet, I guess, or a couple, maybe a kilometer, I can go see the bigger ones. And then lots of picnic spots. Yes, many.
What is the music scene like in Welland?
I have no idea. I didn't. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not come here for that. I go studios in Hamilton, so I'd go there. There's a place for me to stay over and stuff. And yeah,
it's not that far from Hamilton.
No, not at all. So it's two different things. I came here for a good night's sleep.
And I think you'll get it there. Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. It's amazing. Yeah.
I lived in Hamilton for a while. It's a big city, not conducive to a good night's sleep.
No, exactly. Yeah.
But the music scene is good in Hamilton.
It's so good. I mean, I've been there since 2007, and it is really, there's so many good people, man. It's just disgusting, and it's just stuff going. I was just listening to one of Tommy Swick's old a record from 2 years ago. I'm like, why isn't this on every radio station in the land? It's so good. It's not just okay. It's so good, right? And I just kind of it's just, there's so many artists like that. It's crazy.
So he's in Hamilton, you're in Hamilton. Talked to some other Hamilton musicians just a little while ago. So Hamilton really is a musical hotspot.
Yes, I think the Hamilton Music Awards helped with that, and that went away a little bit. But, yeah, that was, it really did help.
Yeah, it used to be that big festival in Gage Park. I remember it from my university days as the It's Your Bag Festival. I think it changed its name a few times. Is that still on?
Festival of Friends?
Festival of Friends. That's what it's called now. That's right.
Yeah, it's moving. It's gone from Gage Park. It might be back to Gage Park. Yeah, it's still here, though.
I imagine that with the COVID pandemic, everything's kind of shut down for a bit.
Everything just went to hell. Yeah, I mean, we have... It's good and bad, to be honest with you. For us, it's been, lots of radio stations in the States are playing our music, blaring it, tons of stations.
Really?
Heavy rotation. And we would not have gotten that opportunity if some key artists were releasing records right now.
Yeah.
But now we're in the door, and they, you know what I mean? It was, do we wait? Well, do we have more than one song that we could market to radio? Maybe, who cares? Let's just do it and see what happens,
I've been listening to the album Love, the one that you've just released, March or so?
Yes, that's the one, yeah.
And they're all good singles. It's good, solid rock and roll music. Just the kind of stuff you'd expect from Hamilton.
Thank you.
It's all catchy, tuneful. You're right. I'm surprised that music like yours isn't being played on every radio station.
Well, it's just, what I've learned is, we started a record label, but we're not doing. I'll be honest with you. I've tried doing marketing in Canada, and it just seemed like a brick wall with the industry here.
Yeah.
You just sort of throw darts and they just bounce off the wall. So what I did this time was I sort of I got Jetpack signed up with the Orchard in the States for distribution.
Okay.
And they got us in touch with this other label services company that got us some great radio promoters and great, good at our level publicity. Although the radio promoters are kind of out of our league, but they're really good. And they love the music. Everyone loves the music, so they're doing it for next to nothing, because they want to see us start earning. And it's a different. I'm just going to say the States is a very different. Hey, let's do this with you guys. Let's make it happen, and they make it happen. And it's been a totally different experience. I've been releasing music here for years and nothing, and now in the States it seems like it's going well. So yeah, I mean that's kind of unfortunate thing is it's such a big market there too.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that maybe what the difference is? The market is so much bigger, so that there's a much wider range of genres and independent music being accepted?
Yeah, like it's Canada has, and if we're discussing it technically, Canada has alternative radio, and there's no real, and then all you awesome, community, like awesome guys that actually play new music, right?
Yeah.
And then, but in the States, you have three different things, kind of community stuff, and you've got like B commercial markets, which will play AAA music, which I found out is adult alternative. That's what this is apparently.
Oh,
I don't know. Who knows, right? Like I just make it, right?
yeah.
But that's what it is. And so they started into those markets, and then you start going up the charts. I think we're past 100 now in a AAA market there. We're in the top 100 there. So it just sort of bleeds in, and then more people jump on, and it and they think there's more than one single. So it's just a slow process of working it,
Yeah.
And the instead of coming out with a bunch of music all the time, which is what our Spotify vampire wants us to do, right?
Right.
I did doing the opposite. We made the best 8 songs we could and took our time. We came up with the best marketing strategy we could. We saved for that marketing strategy. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to become a doctor, you spend $250,000 to become a doctor.
Yeah.
People
you don't learn toes one day and knees a different day and elbows on a third day. You do it all at once.
It takes, you got to do it. You can't just be like, okay, I'm going to see what happens if I just put music on the internet. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And nobody cares about your posts. It's just, it's you have to have a lot of really good stuff, and you have to push it, and you have to try to get people to listen to it. And I'm not saying we're going to be successful with it, but I'm certainly having more success now than ever before of just releasing music for no reason, right? And I'd like to actually go and play for people.
Yeah. So where's the money? Is the money online? Is the money from coming through the record labels, from their distribution? Is the money coming from live shows, from merchandise? How?
So the money from streaming. Unless you're hundreds of millions of streams, you're not going to make any money streaming. Yeah. So we've got millions or something like that, and a million something.
Quarter of a penny per listen, I've heard.
Yeah, it's like it's $500 or $600 or $700 a month we've been getting. I don't know, nothing much, right?
Actually, that's pretty darn good.
It's yeah, sure. I mean, it is, but considering the time and stuff you're putting into it,
that is true.
Tour, radio pays, commercial radio pays in the States.
Okay.
Getting on heavy rotation will probably get some money from that. Not like if you're on pop stations with a huge market, you're going to get big time paid, but we're just kind of starting to break into those, million listener markets as opposed to like 150,000 kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That'll pay a little bit. And yeah, you're right. Touring, and you got to play for people, and that they have to know you're coming, and they have to know why they're going to come to see you, and that takes time.
Yeah.
And I think it's a different world now, and you just have to be really patient and believe in the fact that you want to do this, and not listen to, I love making good songs, and everyone's like, oh, let's make, for years people are trying to get me to make heavy rock, and I like it. I like listening to heavy rock. I listen to heavy metal, but I don't like singing it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. I mean, there's the stuff you do for recreation, there's stuff you do for work, and there's the stuff you do for a creative outlet, and it's not necessarily all the same.
That's correct. So this was an act of love, this record, of all the things I loved about music growing up, and all the things that like I wanted to get a vinyl that I could play on my awesome system that sounded as good as any Beatles record, or any of my favorite Pink Floyd records, or any of my favorite Nirvana records, or any of my favorite records throughout history. Because all these groups that I look up to as just monuments of rock history, I just wanted to be able to put on my vinyl, and it sound so the songs had to be at that level for me as a listener, not for you, for me, and the recording had to be at that level. And it took me years to achieve this. Like, we had to build a studio to do it, realizing that it took 6 months and $600,000 in 1970, whatever, to make Hotel California. which is an outstanding sounding record, right? That how are you going to do that today?
Yeah, it's cheaper to make music today than it was back then, though. I mean, a lot of the
It isn't, and it's cheaper to go into your basement and make a bunch of music, and it's okay. But if you're going to make an epic, live off the floor recordings like Hotel California with, overdubs, but it's just mixed on a Class A console, that's an unbelievable expense. Like it was cheaper. It was cheaper. We would have spent probably just as much money recording in a big studio at Ocean Way, the time that was spent on this record, as we did just building the studio. Getting a Neve console, I don't know if you know what that is and stuff, but to me that's like, you have to have a Class A console to mix a record, right? Like the way that, I lived in LA for a while, and that's what we did in the studio. We used big consoles and big budgets, and we made, pretty cool records. And so I just wanted that opportunity to treat myself to that kind of, it's like that kind of the same thing I've been doing for other people on their records, getting paid to do it. I just wanted to be able to do it for myself, and budget not being an issue.
Right. You said the album is a labor of love. The album is called Love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time labor of love.
Big time labor of love. And so the love is the labor of love that you put into the music, that you put into the album.
It's that. It's about the songs are about people I love or have lost that I love or love. There's many layers to that, to what love is. But yes, it's in every way. Like there's a song on there about my circles about me and my wife, and past experiences with other individuals and people that have died, that have just this one person we met. We were recording her. She was like gonna be the next Amy Winehouse, and she was full of her whole message to us. I don't want to have a negative word in any of my songs. You cannot say anything not positive.
Right.
Just wanted to output love all the time. And she just, like, everyone thought she was the greatest thing on earth, and that's the song starts out. And then when she passed, she accidentally died. She fell off a branch, and 50 feet later, and she was this amazing person, and we just wanted to, that really sort of, that she made an impression on us as her message to the world was fantastic. And I wish I could be like that all the time, but that's what we're, trying to achieve. And this record is my higher self, sort of, if that makes any sense.
I think I understand where you're coming from. You've got a 5-member band. Radio Free Universe is 5 guys. Want to introduce them? We've got the picture up online from your Radio Free Universe website, radiofreeuniverse.ca. And 5 guys staring at the camera.
So we have Adam Newman, who plays guitar, and then there's myself, George Panagopoulos, and then you've got Vince, who's like the keyboard player, and he's just like the sweetest guy you've ever met. What am I missing here? Oh yeah, there's the 5th Beatle, which is Mark McMaster, who drummed on a lot of this stuff. Ashton Norman, who also drums and plays percussion and is the drummer for the live shows. Mark's the co-producer / co-songwriter that I built the studio with, right? Steve Peltier is the bass player on the record, and he was sort of, part in the group in that capacity, but we went with another bass player to be as the full, to be in the band permanently kind of thing. Because Steve is, I love the guy, but he's just like, everybody wants him to play, right? And I just wanted to make sure that whoever was in this group, when we went on tour, that we could all do that. But it's really like a bunch of creative forces, coming together to make this, right? Like we might have come up with song ideas here and there, but getting Vincent and arranging, he'll just play the keys and arrange these key parts and arrange these string parts all of a sudden, and the songs just go to a whole other level when you're surrounded with talented people like that, right? Putting it in. So Radio Free Universe is like this, all my favorite people, all my favorite players, right?
Yeah.
That kind of put together to make this thing. And it went a lot further than we thought it would go. I don't mean it like, so there was another Radio Free Universe before, which is a heavy rock band, and I made the name to sort of represent the music I'm making now. And when I finally achieved that music, I just kept the name because it's like, man, this is really what this needs to be about. And then we had all these different people sort of play in the studio, and then the band kind of just created itself now, and it is what it is. But I'm really happy with it.
It's a good tight band. It all sounds very, very good together. Yeah. Where'd the name come from?
Yeah. What's that?
Where'd the name come from? I mean, Radio Free Universe. It has a great deal of appeal to us community stations.
It's because it's I wanted to make genre like free music, like I wanted to broadcast my inner truth. You know, like Radio Free Europe was doing that with facts and news and giving people liberation and liberating themselves. And I think right now the music industry is just like, oh well, what's your genre?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Hey, you guys are kind of like, the Beatles meets Maroon 5. That's crazy. How do you even get a sound like that? I don't know. I'm not sitting there trying to put this in a track. I'm just making music I love. And I think the biggest problem with the music industry is that there's all these playlists now, and you have to fit a indie rock, alt indie rock, commercial alt. It's just crazy, right? So I just wanted to not think about that and make a record that we loved, right?
I'm going to throw the blame on computers for that. The computer software we're using to run the radio station has this field for genre, and you got to fill that in. And so, there's what, 10 main categories to choose from, and another 50 or 60 subcategories. And unless you can shoehorn into one of those categories, the music just doesn't get played on the automated software.
That's correct. So we found out because we hired some good guys who understand the radio market. And I think that's important. Like, you make the music you want to make, get a team. If you believe in your music, you got to find the team to get it out there. You're not, it's really hard to do by yourself, right? And you're going to have to earn money and pay people. There's just no two ways about it. If you want, like I said, again, you want to go and be a doctor, you got to find a way to get the money to be a doctor, right? That's what it is right now. There's no magic company that's going to come up and go, you're a star. Forget it. That's done. It's over. There's so much good music out there that they basically wait until you're filling, 2,000 seaters, right? Yeah. And then they're like, you want a deal? So what?
Only then. Yeah. Where were you when you were starting?
Yeah. So, but what is cool is what is really cool is you're seeing people of different looks. It's not the same. It's not a bunch of, there's that market still, but people can look however they look. And I keep saying, she is a pop artist. He is a pop artist, right? And my kids introduced me to her, honestly, my kids and my wife. And she's just so talented, right? And she's older and a phenomenal singer, and nobody cares. She's just a great songwriter. Too bad. Her image is no image, right? And there's all kinds of people coming through the woodwork now that would never have made it in the old industry.
Yeah.
So there's some good and there's some bad, but she also works so hard at doing what she does and getting it out there, right?
Yeah.
That's it. You got to wake up every day and treat it like a professional, thing that you do. And if you want to make money for it, right, from it. Me, I'm happy that you like it and people listen to it, and that's great. And if I make money from it, that's great too,
I think that's excellent advice to any up-and-coming musicians. Treat it like a profession.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Don't show up to my studio. We're trying to find artists, right? We're trying to find people to work with, and people will listen to this record and go, "Oh my God, I need to work with you," and they want to show up once a week.
Yeah.
This is a full-time. You can't I've got 2 kids, a wife, a father with dementia, which another song on the record's about, that I take care of, right?
Yeah.
And I could go to the studio 5 days a week and work. How come you can't? If I'm working on your record, that makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
And a really great job that I love.
Got to put in the work.
Yeah, you got to put in the work. There's you're going to sleep 4 hours a night sometimes, but you got to love it so much that doesn't even matter. Oh, my voice, I don't know if it's ready today. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because when you're on the road for a month, that's what your voice is going to sound like anyway.
Yeah. George,
Yeah.
it has been wonderful talking to you. I hope that when all this COVID pandemic stuff is past tense, that you'll make the trip from Welland out here to Kitchener-Waterloo and come visit us in the studios so we
Of
can talk a
course.
little bit more.
Sure, absolutely. And a great interview. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That's George from Radio Free Universe here on CKMS Community Connections. We're listening to Love right now from their album Love. It's wonderful rock and roll music. We'll take that to the bottom of the hour, and then we've got another interview coming up later. Thank you, George. Talk to you again soon.
Right now, we're all stars meant to shine, but we fall on our knees and wait for a sign. Don't get caught on the wrong side of time. Love right now, love right now. I want your love right between my eyes, and I want your love. I want it right now. I want it right now. We long to fly, but we stand on the ground and look at the sky before the sun goes down. You and I, love right now, love right now. We're all stars meant to shine, but we fall on our knees and wait for a sign. Don't get caught on the wrong side of time. Love right now, love right now. We long to fly, but we stand on the ground and look at the sky before the sun goes down. You and I, love right now, love right now. We're all stars meant to shine, but we fall on our knees and wait for a sign. Don't get caught on the wrong side of time. Love right now, love right now. I can't provide a definition of what it's like to have no ambition. So tear me down like a demolition. Break me down for scraps. I'm just a wreck. I'm just a wreck. I cannot focus, so I'm cashing out. I didn't plan on failure or a stage down. These tangled wires just won't let go. Now they're catching fire, which means I'm just a wreck. I'm just a wreck. I'm just a wreck. I'm just a wreck. Broken lives, lost connection. There's warning signs. Your love's not real. This monument, it's falling apart. Time's running out. I'm just a wreck. I'm just a wreck. scale the sky, and horizons fade to gray. A faint spectrum at the edge of the world. Redlit spies of our humanity, reaching out across the land and sea. All these hopes and prayers for a sign. Now I feel that I have wasted my trepidation, passive participation. Where there's a will, there is a way. Around, feel insignificant. They say don't look down, but they've got it all wrong. Thought I was a skeptic, now I'm questioning it all. Will I be corrected, or just follow protocol? Do you believe in your own design? Trepidation, passive participation, contentious calculation, neglected negotiation. Do you believe in a responsibility where there's a will, there is a way. Do you believe where there's a will, there is a
Tepid Trepidation by Jean-Paul Roover. We have transitioned from Love by Radio Free Universe to Loss by Jean-Paul Roover. I have Jean-Paul on the phone with me. Good morning, Jean-Paul. Welcome to CKMS Community Connections.
Thanks very much for having me, Bob.
You have a nice hard rock sound about you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Had some lighter rock from Radio Free Universe before on the theme of love. This album you've just released has a theme of loss. Can you tell me about that?
Absolutely. The two albums were always meant to be, in my mind, sibling albums, because the two of them really truly belong together. I mean, one is acoustic, singer-songwriter. The other one is, as you mentioned, like hard rock, bordering on progressive, even tinging on metal at times. But the two albums are meant to be part and parcel, because Love is literally a collection of songs all about my family, my relatives, my own little family unit with my wife and son.
and just compassion for your fellow human. But then there's also been a lot of tragedy that's been befallen people that I know and relatives and stuff like that over the past few years as well. So I kind of needed to address that a bit, and that's what loss is all about. Whether it's divorce, death, or even just something as simple as losing the means to work.
Yeah, seems to be that those are the two main themes for any songwriter: love and loss.
I think at a certain point you can boil it down to those kinds of things in just about any time. That's true.
Yeah. You're up in Thunder Bay, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. Produced the album in Thunder Bay as well?
That's right. So I run a little recording studio called Blueprints, and both of these albums were produced there, mixed there. We had a mastered by a guy, John Tornblom, a Transparent Mastering in Hamilton player from Toronto area or something like that would send files digitally.
Mm-hmm. And so the studio that you're going to is not your own studio. You're renting studio space.
No. It's actually in my home.
Oh, okay. Sorry, misunderstood that.
That's
excellent.
Okay. Yeah. It's nice to be able to work on your own stuff from the comfort of your own home, but it also means that you can often get distracted very easily.
Oh yeah, I know all about that. So what sort of setup do you have there?
Well, it's located in my basement, but we have a couple of different rooms. There's a control room, there's a tracking room, there's a little vocal booth, and basically anything you need done there, we can do. If we need to, like for example, on the Love album, we actually went and did some remote recordings in order to do the acoustic guitar. So we went and found the biggest church we could find and recorded me finger picking in this massive church. And so that's why there's such a cool quality to that, the Love album, because I'm playing the softest guitar playing I've ever played in this massive room. And we had, 7-8 mics capturing the whole thing. But at the same time, then you can have a lot of fun with the heavy stuff. And that can be done in my place as well, whether it's guitar tracking or any kind of editing, stuff like that. So it's been a real treat to be able to work on a variety of different sounds.
Right. I have to admit that shamefully we do not have the Loss album in our digital library yet. I'm going to fix that this very afternoon.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And we can do a little bit of comparative musicology between the two albums the next time that you're on the show.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah, there's definitely some very poignant things that we made to make sure. So the Love album has a very warm, inviting characteristic to it, whereas the Loss is even little things like we chose to go with digital drums instead of acoustic drums because we wanted it to sound a little colder. We wanted it to be a little harsher. That was a very intentional decision when sort of designing like the palette of how each of them would work.
Yeah, it's interesting that the intent behind things like digital drums is always to make them sound as natural as possible, but they never do quite make it. And musicians use that to their advantage because they take those different characteristics and use them for different purposes.
Yeah, and I mean, like the sounds that we used are very realistic, but at the same time, there's a certain feeling that you get that you realize that I don't think that was. It doesn't feel like there's a microphone in the room, the same way that you'd feel with the other recording, and that was an important distinction we wanted to make.
Mm-hmm. You were telling me about some of the instrumentation you're using, specifically on the rec. That's when we started off with that at 11:30 or so. What can you tell me?
Well, that song in itself is particularly interesting because there's first of all the opening sound. You heard that kind of grinding sound, and I'm the proud owner of a church organ that lives in my home, and I've kept it around for years, even after it's sort of outlived its usefulness, because of that one sound that it makes. That's the sound of the fan blower turning off when the machine powers down. And I knew that I needed to do something with that sound, but I never knew what. So eventually I just sat down, played that sound over and over again, and then wrote the guitar riff around that sound.
Shall I have a quick listen to that as the opening to Rec?
Absolutely. Let's hear it.
I would have sworn that was a motorcycle. Reminded me of Eddie Grant, and can't remember the name of the song exactly, but he had the motorcycle back, 1980 or so.
Okay, cool.
And I would have sworn you were revving a motorbike.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will kind of assume that the song's about wreck. There's a little bit of like car imagery in it. I think a lot of people would assume that that's got something to do with it. But the other fun thing is, as you listen through the song later on, you'll hear myself singing, and then you'll also hear like group vocals getting louder and louder and louder throughout the song.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all people that. I did a crowdfunding campaign to help release the album, and so I was getting people to send in audio files of themselves singing, as well as at the Love album release, I got the audience to chant those lyrics and recorded it, and then I mashed those all together, and that's how you get this massive gang vocal choir.
Okay.
Towards the end of the song is by having everyone that was sort of invited in to be a part of the process on the song.
Right. Seems to be a popular thing. We've got a couple of bands working out of, affiliated with CKMS FM, Robot Apocalypse, which is a collaborative band as well. People from all over the country, really, collaborating together, sending in little clips here and there that somebody else assembles into music.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly COVID has, made that a bit more of a necessity as well. I've with the studio that I run, there's been a lot of projects that have been operating that way, where studios weren't allowed to be open for a while, so we had to make sure that okay, find a drummer for the project, but find a drummer that has his own space, his own studio that he can send the files over. Same thing with violin players, harmonica players, whatever it may be. But there's a number of projects that I completed during this process, this quarantine. That was the process in which we managed to achieve everything.
And so has that enhanced the music, or has that put a crimp on it?
I think it's made it. I think it's made it a lot more interesting, because being in Thunder Bay, I can't turn around and find a sousaphone player at whim. So I would have had to have found somebody outside of my jurisdiction, anyways. Right. But now I have to find other players. Even though I know I've got a talented drummer, I've got a talented bass player, I need to find other people, and so it's allowed me sort of to expand my bubble a bit, which is exciting, but it doesn't necessarily help put money in the hands of the musicians here locally.
Right.
But it does, in terms of creative output, it's exciting because you get to try something new.
Yeah. It's all technology that's making that happen, isn't it?
It's true, and I'm thankful that I've got a space with fiber internet that I can make everything happen the best that it can, as opposed to some people who were kind of blindsided by the quarantine process, right?
Mm-hmm. Were you doing a lot of touring, live performances? What's the live music scene like in Thunder Bay?
Well, I mean, in February, it was great. There's, we have a number of venues in our downtown core, and live music is supported really, really well by the public. It's been a real, the Thunder Bay has been outputting a lot of really, really talented acts for the last number of years, and they're starting to get national recognition, which is fantastic. But yeah, there's a number of venues, and they're all very genre diverse. So you'll have a venue that will have a drag show, then a metal show, then a folk artist, then such and such. Like every night of the week, there's something happening. So the music scene up here is really, really diverse and very accepting, which is not something that you get once you get to Toronto. It gets a little cliquey.
Right. I'm just thinking that Thunder Bay is like a day and a half drive from Kitchener-Waterloo. So you're a little bit outside of the Southern Ontario touring circuit.
And we're outside of the circuit of anyone's circuit, really.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah, no, it's if we want to, we can be down there in the day. 17 hours, basically 15 to 17 hours, depending on the day. But yeah, touring is good. I mean, the last time we were supposed to have chatted, I was supposed to have been on the road, I think.
It would have been late February, early March, just around the time when everything shut down.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. We were on the road, and then March 13th, March 12th ended up being our last date, because we ended up canceling the 13th and 14th in order to rush back home because everything was shutting down. And we were one. I was quite proud of it at the time. It was a hard decision to make to cancel shows, but we were one of the first artists that was starting to actively cancel shows because we felt it wasn't safe.
Right.
Some of the venues gave us flack, saying like, "Oh, come on, you can't be serious. Like, we only have like 2 or 3 cases in this town," and we said, "No, that's not something we would like to do. It would be irresponsible of us to try to encourage people to come out in a time like this." And so we put out a big press release about it and canceled those shows, and then head home. And as soon as we got home, everything shut down and went to lockdown.
Yeah. When you were touring, you tour solo? Do you bring musicians along with you?
This tour I did in March was the first time in over 10 years that I've toured with a live band. Otherwise, I've been known as a one-man band, and I always tour by myself. So this was a real exploration for me because of the fact that it's been so long since I've had other people with me. But from what you've heard of the Lost album, it's not something I can really do by myself.
Yeah.
So, which was another conscious decision, was to write an album that had to be performed with other musicians, so that I was forced to have to do that. I couldn't just try to do the one-man band version and call it a day. I knew that I would have to do it with other people.
Yeah, there's a nice picture of you on your website, jeanpaulderoover.com. You on stage, some wonderful lighting effects, playing acoustic guitar, a couple of mics on a single stand in front of you, and a whole stack of keyboards. So.
Basically, that's my solo setup, where I have a bunch of different looping devices to be able to record and play myself back, so I can build a band sound while still being one guy in a little Honda Fit.
Right. What sort of venues do you play at? Little tiny bars, stuck in a corner at the back someplace, or the huge stadiums with thousands of fans?
Well, I mean, I'd love to say the latter, but I do more of the intimate spaces, especially, and it depends on the tour that I'm doing. Like, for example, when I was promoting the Love album, it was all acoustic singer-songwriter stuff. So I was playing, very small capacity rooms. Like a 25-seat room was like perfect, because then you can do the storytelling bit. You can explain what the motivations behind the songs were. You can take questions. Like, it's a nice kind of vibe to do that sort of thing. Yeah. But then with the Lost album, I had the band called the Band-Aid Solution with me, and we managed to play the Horseshoe and stuff like that. So we're playing these bigger rooms, and I've got smaller ones in the mix as well. But a bigger place like that. But then also like a DIY like art space in Ottawa called Sinkhole, for like 50, 60 people. So but that's because I wanted that kind of energy. I wanted that punk rock, sort of like DIY vibe, because that's part of the ethos of the touring musician, is to have to deal with that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was thinking that the Lost album doesn't lend itself well to small, intimate spaces.
No, but that being said, we've put it in there, and it's fun because, again, you don't get to see that kind of energy and, in this case, aggression sometimes in that kind of a intimate space. So it's a real fun thing to do for both us and the people that are there.
Yeah. Got any favorites off the album, Lost?
Yeah, I mean, there's people always say that you have to pick between your babies, but there's definitely some favorites of mine. Some of them are favorites because of just how self-indulgent they are. Because it's just like, in my mind, it's like I've always wanted to write just an aggressive rock song with unintelligible vocals and just chaos. And so, like, there's a song called Glass Cliff, which is a personal favorite of mine. I don't know if it's the best choice for radio, but it's, for me and anyone that looks it up, it's the exact opposite of whatever you think I might be. And that's why I love it. But there's a song, if you're looking to play another one, there's a song that I think is very, very powerful. It's a song called There's Been an Accident. And the reason why is because a number of years ago, my cousin out in Thompson, Manitoba, her family made the news when her husband and son went out on a canoe trip and never returned.
Aha.
So there's, I wrote the song for her, and it's sort of about her, but also about my experience having to have been the one to sort of let the rest of the family know when they found the bodies. Because, you know, I was sort of the messenger for grandparents and other aunts and uncles, that sort of thing. So that's what that song is about. And I was terrified when I wrote it because I didn't know what my cousin would think about this song.
Yes.
Would she be outraged that I did? How dare I write a song about it? Would she be happy that I did? Would it just depress her even more? You know, cycling back through grief. So once the album was out, she finally heard it, and then I was so grateful because it moved her so much. She found it very cathartic. She shared it with a bunch of different communities online that she's part of now, that it helped with parents that are grieving. And yeah, she listens to it often because of the fact that she says it makes her feel. And even if that's a negative thing, she needs to feel, and that's how she's processing her grief.
So there's been an accident is the song on the album that encapsulates the whole theme of loss.
It really does. Like when that song was written, that's when I knew what the title was of the album.
Well, let's have a listen to that. I want to thank you, Jean-Paul, for being on CKMS Community Connection. It's been a wonderful interview. Glad we finally got caught up, and things let up, and you can travel back now to Southern Ontario. Hope you'll stop by the studio and drop in person sometime.
I would love to.
That'd be great. Jean-Paul the Rover, thank you very much. We're going to listen to There's Been an Accident from the album Loss.
Wake with the sunrise, get a start on the day. We kiss 3 times, and I send you on your way. Reliving the moments that we get to share. I'm satisfied and blissfully unaware. I collapse to the pavement where my knees start to hurt. My trembling hands, white knuckles cased in tears. I believe I'm a victim, even though there's no crime. I just want my family. Can we travel back through time?
You've been listening to CKMS Community Connections on Radio Waterloo, CKMS FM 102.7. My name is Bob Jonkman. The executive producer for CKMS Community Connections is Jennifer Strong. Contributing producers are Jordan Dorrance, Jeff Stager, and Dylan Bravener. CKMS Community Connections airs every Monday at 11 o'clock with a repeat on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Join us again next week on Monday at 11.
Some questions need answers I can't explain. Oh, there's been an accident. It's too late. Found a reflection outside of a frame. I don't need a mirror to remind me who remains. I have to surrender from screaming my prayers. My lungs are filling with the heaviest of air. Stare into my eyes.